3 and 4-year-old leaders. We are preparing for July 21st in our summer series. This summer, we've been talking about how God provided a king for the nation of Israel, for the Israelites. And that's the first king was King Saul, but King Saul was not a great king. And so God appointed David, little David, the shepherd boy, to be king. And David is growing into that kingdom. As we pick up our story today, we're looking toward the end of what we're going to be studying about David. And in the end of this story, we see that Saul has died, Jonathan has died, and King David remembers that he made a promise to Jonathan. Jonathan was his very best friend, and he goes to Saul's servants and asks them, is there anyone from Saul's family that's still alive? And the servant reminded him that Mephibosheth, who is Jonathan's son, is still alive. Mephibosheth had a problem with his feet, which meant he probably couldn't walk very well. And because he couldn't walk very well, he probably didn't live really well because he couldn't do things to take care of his family. And so David decided, I'm going to go see Mephibosheth. And so he went to him and called him by name. And Mephibosheth looks up at him and he says, I am your servant, King David. And David looks at him and says, do not be afraid. I made a promise to your dad, Jonathan, and I'm here to take care of you. I want to give you all of the land, and I want you to eat at my table. In other words, he was giving Mephibosheth the same kind of seat that he probably would have given his son, and treating him like a son. And I think that this story helps us see how God did the same thing for us by giving us King Jesus, Savior King Jesus, to be God in person for us, so that we could see God's great kindness. This week, you're going to get a really great opportunity to do an activity to show kids how their kindness can help somebody else hear and know about Jesus, sometimes for the very first time. Before you get there, though, you have your social activity, you have your sheep masks, and you have your pool noodles, and if it's still on the carpet, you might have some tape. But what you're supposed to do is tape off a path on the carpet, and the kids are going to take turns being sheep and shepherds and herding the sheep along the path gently, just like a shepherd would do, so that the shepherd was doing a good job of taking care of his sheep. And this is helping us understand that, David had some training before he became king in taking care of things, and he gently took care of those sheep because he didn't want anything to happen to those sheep. And then if we'll remember, in the New Testament, Jesus refers to people and to everyone around him as sheep real regularly. And so God, the Good Shepherd, takes care of us as well. All right, then during your small group time, you are going to have a bucket full of a bunch of goodies. This week, we are going to introduce Operation Christmas Child to all of our kiddos. If you haven't had the chance to participate in this yet, this is a good introduction to you as well. There will be a shoebox that looks like this, that's empty right now, and you will have supplies to fill a boy box and a girl box. You can have a boy box and a girl box, there will be 2 total boxes, 1 boy, 1 girl per service. And so we're hoping to have 25 boxes by the end of the day and that are already filled. And we've already given you everything you need to fill this shoebox for a 2 to 4-year-old little boy or girl. The supplies I have with me today are for a girl, but there are boy supplies, I promise. You also have this little packing list for each leader of things that we expect for you to put in the box. There's a bag full of little stuffed animals, and we made it little because this is going to little people, and so we wanted to give them something that they can play with their hands. There are also some socks. These are some girl socks. There's boy socks for the boy boxes. There is a tennis ball, and we want each box to have a tennis ball this year. We have a cup and some plasticware, and so you could put all that together. If you can stuff it together, you can get more in your shoebox. There is a receiving blanket for each box so that they have something to cuddle with. 2 little coloring books with a small box of crayons. Remember, this is going to 2 to 4-year-olds, just like the age of your kiddos, so that should be plenty for our little ones. For the girl boxes, there'll also be a little baggie of hair bows that you'll put in there for them. I'm going to put the cup in there on top. And then there is a bag that our elementary kids already stuffed for the shoe boxes. There is a washcloth in here, a bar of soap wrapped up in the washcloth. There is a toothbrush and a comb. And one of these toiletry bags is going to go in each shoe box. And then you should be able to close it up real good, and you have a shoebox ready to go out for a little girl. We want for kids to do this activity for a couple different reasons. We want them to see what we can do as a church to reach out to people in other countries to hear about Jesus for the first time. But I also want for them to see what they can do to help participate. Maybe they can't fill a whole shoebox, but they could get one of those things that's in a shoebox and help provide that so that we can help fill more shoeboxes. As a church, we're hoping to fill 850 shoeboxes when we do our church-wide packing parties. And then as a global church, we're hoping to receive 2,500 boxes by the first week in November. The reason we're starting this now is all the school supplies are on sale, so we could use your help gathering up spiral notebooks and crayon boxes and anything that's not liquid. If you could help us pick those things up. You could also, if you want to add a few little extra things to help fill up the shoebox, little Matchbox cars, some little play toys, or even toys from Happy Meals that are very gently used, if not used at all, make really good fillers for shoeboxes. Remember, our shoeboxes that we're packing today go to 2 to 4-year-olds. But we are going to start collecting the first week in November all of the supplies we need. There are a couple other papers in your bag that you'll see. There's a coloring page that after you pack your shoebox, you can get the kids to color this coloring page, and maybe you can help them fill it in. We'd like to keep all of these coloring pages that are colored, because we're going to put these in the shoe boxes so each kid that gets a shoebox knows it came from another kid. There are also some stickers. Go ahead and put those on the kids after you've finished your shoebox packing, because we want for them to take this paper home to explain to families how they can participate in collecting things for Operation Christmas Child. There's some specific instructions for Parkway Church there on the bottom. There are also some good suggestions on the back of things that people can help us collect. Ultimately, we'd love to see more packing parties. That would be a huge, but if families aren't able to do their own packing party, we'd at least like for them to help participate in our packing parties or helping provide supplies so that we can send these to the kids. The ministry of Operation Christmas Child is through Samaritan's Purse. And what Samaritan's Purse does is collect all these shoe boxes from all the churches around the world, around the United States mostly, but I'm sure there's some worldwide churches that participate. And when they collect these shoe boxes, they take them to a distribution center, and then they're sorted out and sent out to missionary organizations around the world. And those missionary organizations use this shoebox as a first-time introduction for kids to the gospel. And so every time a kid gets a shoebox, I'm talking about every single time a kid gets a shoebox, the gospel is shared in a clear way in their country, in their language, with people that are on the ground there in their country, helping disciple and build relationships with families. All of the shoe boxes go to first-time recipients. Nobody gets more than one shoebox ever in their life. And so if you can imagine what happens once a family receives a shoebox, because really it is the whole family that gets to enjoy the things that are in a shoebox. I know when I think about that, it makes me want to put special things in there for mom and for dad and for other sisters and brothers so that everybody has the chance to know that they are loved. And because they are loved, they can believe in a big God who sent his son Jesus for us. So, as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about this too. My family has participated in this since Nick was 2, I think. And I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing the way churches and people, most people that participate in this program don't come from much because they understand what it is to not have much. And so, the churches that are making the biggest impact, believe it or not, are the teeny tiny churches of like 25 people who just have a huge passion for reaching the world and sharing the gospel with them. So I think that's huge as far as sharing the gospel, but also just in building the church and helping them have a mission to do together. You can pray and encourage your kiddos. Maybe ask them if they've participated in Operation Christmas Child before. It's a good possibility they haven't because we have so many new families at church right now. But if they have, then maybe get them to tell their story. Thank you for leading, and I will talk to you soon.